When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Absolutely, unequivocally, yes is the answer. Now, here is the host of The Long Bearded Guy, the Chief Catalyst, Strategist Guide at JEWIL International, Gordon D Melville.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to The Long Bearded Guy with Gordon D Melville on Inspired Choices Network. Welcome to Red Fridays. We want to make sure we respect and give honor to the people that are willing to stand on the wall for us. Red, if you're not familiar with that, Red Friday is RED, Remember Everyone Deployed. Soft spot in my heart for military and first responders, and we want to make sure we respect and honor them, or at least I want to. So today we're going to talk about storms birthing stronger men, and I think storms can birth stronger women too. My avatars are entrepreneurial men and pro athletes, as you know, and if you don't, those are my avatars. But storms can birth stronger people in general. And so I want to welcome you here today. We're going to talk about this in some depth, but I really appreciate you being here. I want to, by the way, if you don't have a journal or something to write with or write on, you've got about 30 seconds to get that, because you're going to hear some stuff that you go, oh, you know what, I want to remember that. And we want to, but our brains just, even if they say statistically, you can only retain about 10% of what you hear, even if you take good notes. So I would encourage you to get something to write on. But I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you so much. Please like, love, share, subscribe, do all the regular things. It helps with our algorithms and it helps pay for the show, but it helps get things out. And what I'm looking for in particular is engagement. We've got an ignorant, huge reach, hundreds of millions across the 450 platforms we're on. And that's wonderful. To have the reach is great. That's potential. What I'm looking for is engagement. What I'm looking for is people to reach back to me, and you can tell me that you agree with me. Hey, Gord, this is awesome. I really agree with this. You can tell me, hey, Gord, I want to challenge that a little bit. I think there's maybe that can we discuss that a little bit? I'm all over that. Or you might reach out and go, Gord, you're full of shit. That's not that's just so far off base. But at least it's engagement. I can handle that. I want that engagement. So please reach out. And like I say, like it, love it, share it. That's how I get some more engagement. If this resonates with you and you hear stuff, you go, oh, that's really good. I know some people that need to hear this. I think there's something that we get inside ourselves. And when I talk about some of these tools and strategies, I get a lot of people, both men and women, that go, Gord, that's critical, especially men. That's critical. You need to teach guys that. That has to be there. But I'm okay. But I know some guys that need that. And I'm like, okay, well, wait a second. What I'm finding is we need to put the tools in when we don't need it, when we were on a high, when we're in a good place. Because it's like buying insurance. You have to buy insurance when you don't need it. Because when you do need it, you won't qualify. In that same vein, we need to put the tools in our toolbox to deal with our life when things are doing well. Because when things are not doing well, it's very difficult to deal with whatever the challenge is. And we're going to talk about storms today. It's hard to go through the storm, deal with that, and find the help to do that while you're dealing with it. It's very difficult. So I'm going to encourage you to find those tools and strategies when you're in a good place, when your things are doing well. Not that you won't when things aren't doing well. But I'm saying, when a good place, don't not look for those things. Okay, I'm on a mission to change the lives of every man. That's for me. That's the goal. And if you know who I am, great. If you don't, I'm founder and CEO of JEWIL International. I'm their what do we call it? Legacy and Resiliency Strategist is the title I use for myself, which is just a fancy way to talk about, hey, what are we, awareness of what we're leaving every day that people are going to remember us by, and then resilience to get through the storms, to get through the challenges of our life. And so I teach that kind of thing. I'm a champion mindset mentor for a pro basketball team. I'm an international best-selling author multiple times, and you don't need my resume per se, but you know what? I speak all over the place, international speaking, and you know what? It's something I'm teaching both men and women now, but mostly men. I don't want to leave the women out, because I have had some really good sessions with a bunch of women, and I did a class that was unbelievable. I've got another one starting in February. If that's of interest to you, let me know. But it's amazing. I learned so much from those women. But I learned from the guys too, as we're going through all of these things. We add more tools, we add other strategies to be able to deal with things. So I talk a lot about transparency and vulnerability, and we're going to talk about that in our first piece today. Do we have the guts? Do we have the intestinal fortitude to be transparent and vulnerable? And I know some guys say, oh, they push back on the vulnerable and go, they don't like to hear that word. Well, okay, so call it real and raw. Call it what? It's still vulnerable. It's still being able to be transparent and step into that. And I think if we can't do that, it's a challenge. There's a challenge there, because certainly for guys, we don't want to look weak. A lot of us were taught, don't look weak, don't cry, don't show your emotion, don't let anybody. Well, that did a double whammy to us, because not only did it shunt us from letting out our emotion and being able to deal with what we're dealing with, but it also stopped us from having situational awareness and some EQ, some emotional quotient around other people. We found it hard to read other people's emotion, and to have some empathy and some compassion where we needed to, because we didn't see it in ourselves, or we didn't want to admit it in ourselves. We couldn't see it in other people. And so being able to be transparent and vulnerable. I had an amazing day yesterday. If you were on the summit with Inspired Choices Network yesterday, it was incredible, absolutely incredible. The speakers were amazing. The Christine McIver did an incredible job with that. Her team of world-class support producers and support staff, unbelievable, including my own producer today. Love her to death. And you know what? It was just such an amazing thing. But there's a lot of energy that goes into that. And if you've followed me at all, you know I don't have huge amounts of energy. I'm still not well, and I've got undiagnosed head pain that they don't know why. It's been there 8 years. I go to bed with it. I wake up with it. It's just always there, and it's debilitating. There's a lot of days I can't get out of bed. There's days the pain is so bad I can't function. And so, and again, being transparent and vulnerable with you, right? Being completely out there so that you understand, or at least know. It's not even understand, it's just a know. This is where I'm coming from. And we all have our storms. We all have our battles. But do you have the guts to be transparent about it with the people around you? And I'm not talking about pumping it out onto social media with all the detail, that's not cool, right? Carrying our dirty laundry all over the place, that's not cool. But to be able to have a community or a group of people or a couple of people that we know we can reach out to and be completely transparent. Completely transparent. When I tell people, hey, I'm a suicide survivor, there's a lot of people that go, wow, you know what? You're so open about that. Why wouldn't I be? I want to be able to engage. Well, as soon as people realize that I'm a human and I go through storms and I screw up a bunch, and I'm relatable. They go, Gord's my guy. Listen to him. He goes through the same stuff I do. He struggles just like I do, because we all do. And someone that tells you they don't struggle, I would be very careful with those people, because not only do they have struggles just like the rest of us, but they also have denial, because they're pushing back. No, everything is good. It's all good. That's not real. That's not real. And so, we want to be able to embrace, in the storms of life are going to show those things all over the place. They're going to they're going to challenge us in a bunch of different ways. We're going to talk about that in another segment, but being able to have the tools we need to deal with those things has to be preloaded. It needs to be preloaded. We have to have them already in our toolbox. And I'm not talking about one or two tools, because what works this time might not work next time. And even if it does, if I have two different ways to deal with it and those don't work, then what do I do? Well, now I'm resorting back to the things that we would typically do. And the things we would typically do, our go-to stuff, are coping mechanisms that a lot of times are not healthy ones. So with guys, because we put our emotions in a box, or we push it down inside of ourselves. We try not to deal with it, but that causes us residual pain. And now we're trying to dull the pain. So we do all the things you would think. We drink, we drugs, gamble, smoke, whatever it is, right? Porn, whatever it is. The point is, it's all under that same umbrella. It's all under, because they're all under the vices category. And if I leave the vice there too long, I'm going to have an addiction. Well, now, and some of those are socially acceptable and some of them are not. Someone that gets drunk all the time or drinks a lot as a coping mechanism, society looks at it and goes, yeah, whatever, it's all good. Right? In Canada, weed is legal. So is that acceptable? Yes, maybe no, depending on how you're raised and what your personal views and opinions are. And I'm not here to give you what your opinion is. My opinion doesn't matter in a grand scope. But for you, if we're using any of those things as coping mechanisms, if we're addicted to those things, if we can't live without those things, or it's the go-to for our life to deal with the storms, we need some help. We need some other ways. And I'm saying those can be used in a harmful. Usually when we use it as a coping mechanism, it becomes a harmful thing to us. It hurts us instead of helps us. It just masks the problem. It doesn't take it away. Because once you're sober again, or we're not high anymore, whatever the piece is, we stop gambling, right? Once we stop that, the problem's still there. It didn't solve the problem. So having tools to be able to deal with the situations is, for me, I think is paramount. Again, that's why affecting and improving the life of all men by raising their EQ. That's the point. That's the plan. If I raise their emotional quotient, if we raise our emotional quotient as women or men, our lives get better because we have more the capacity for sympathy. We're situationally aware of what's going on around us. We're aware that legacy isn't an end of life thing. It's something we do every day. So then we're thinking about it as we go through our day. What's the legacy I'm pouring into people around me, in the conversations I have with people I see at the bank or the grocery store, at school or at work or wherever? Because I don't have to have a relationship with them, but even just passing them in the hallway, do you smile at them? Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Are we friendly with people? What legacy are we pouring? Is it positive or is it negative? And to be able to do that while we're going through our own storms, we all have storms. We all have stuff that we're battling with. We all have stuff that we have. Everybody's got a story. Everybody does. We all do. But to have some idea around that you know what? I know we all have these challenges. We all have stuff going on. I'm going to lead with love and be kind. And I'm going to understand they're going through some kind of a storm, whether they acknowledge that, whether they're transparent and vulnerable about it or not. I know they are. We all know people are. So then to be kind, lead with love and be kind. Don't take it personally. If you've read the 4 Agreements, don't take it personally. If you haven't read the 4 Agreements, it's a great book. Very good book. But yeah, don't take it personally. A lot of times it has nothing to do with us. They're just lashing out because they're frustrated with their storm. They don't know how to deal with their storm. So I have to take a quick break here, but you know what? I need to do a quick shout out for Jose Escobar, is the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check out his Connected Leaders Academy membership to take your business, to the next level. This is the perfect tribe to learn, grow, and connect like never before. The CLA tribe brings together some of the highest level entrepreneurs from all over the world. Set up your virtual coffee with Jose Escobar today, and you can reach him at theentrepreneur'sbookshelf.com. And I believe the Connected Leaders Academy now it's in 18 countries, I believe now, and very close to 375 people. It's in 46 of the states, almost all the way there. So I know they're pushing to get to the other states, but it's an incredible group, incredible community and tribe of entrepreneurs. And if you want your business to thrive and grow, reach out to Jose. Incredible group. All right, as we take this quick break, don't forget to pause and breathe Pause and breathe. Why? It helps ground us. It helps percolate what we're hearing. It helps us understand and ground us in the moment. It can calm us down. It can energize us as well. If you do some breathing exercise when you're instead of a Red Bull when you're tired, you can re-energize yourself. So I want to calming, energize intensity by breathing, pausing and breathing for just a quick second while in between the next segment. We're going to talk in the next segment lessons that we're learning from the storm. What can we learn from the storm? So we're going to talk about that in the next segment. So don't go anywhere. You're with the long bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. That's me on Inspired Choices Network. We'll be right back.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at JEWIL International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate you being here. Today we're talking about storms birthing stronger people, stronger men and women, stronger all of us all the way around. And so we talked about being transparent and vulnerable, being real and raw with each other and with the people closest to us in our lives to be able to deal with some of these things. So lessons that we're going to talk in this little segment about, lessons from the storm, lessons we learned from storm. And we get storms in all areas of our lives, right? There's storms. It's not just a physical thing for some of us like me. There's physical stuff, right? As much as yesterday was awesome, but there was a lot of energy pumped out yesterday. On the summit, I was at shoot around practice for the team I'm doing mindset work with. There was a shoot around in the morning, so I went and did that. Then I hopped on the summit. I was in that all day, and normally I have a quick nap. I didn't have the opportunity for that because of the summit, but it was awesome. That jacked me all up and inspired me. But I went straight from home to the arena for the and I'm a mascot for that team. So that again, that's a huge outlay of energy, and it pushes me back. And so, I was out yesterday morning. I was up at 6:15 and I didn't go to bed until almost midnight and without any breaks. That's a long, long day for me. Way, way long. And so, and again, in the vein of being transparent and vulnerable with you, I woke up this morning and I'm like, I don't know if I can do this today. Huge amounts of pain today. And there's barometric stuff. And anyway, there's lots of stuff going on. My point is, I talk about being resilient, being able to go through whatever you're going through, go through the storm and find ways to deal. And I will. I slept most of this morning. I'm going to sleep this afternoon. I'll have some more nap this afternoon. Taking care, self-care, right? That self-care can help us through the storm. But what can we learn from going through the storm? We get mental, physical, emotional, spiritual storms, things that we battle with in our everyday life that nobody knows about. Sometimes we don't share that stuff with anybody. We should, by the way, but we don't. Typically, we don't. I think Papa allows, he's not sending it, he's not making it happen. And I call God Papa because of my relationship with him, but I think he allows storms to come into our life to give us the opportunities to grow. I'm going to say that again. Papa or universe or source, however you want to describe that higher power. I think he allows us storms to come into our life to give us opportunities to grow. Humans have this weird thing where we don't grow typically when we're on a mountaintop. When everything is great and we're just flying along, we don't typically learn in those spaces because we don't need to. Everything is good. Why rock the boat? It's not broken, don't fix it. Right? So if that's the case, then we need a storm to give us the opportunity to grow. We need that opportunity to grow. You've heard me talk before about the acorn in the ground. For it to grow properly, you've got to bury it in the dirt. Why? Well, the nutrients to grow are in the dirt. The nutrients it needs to grow are in the dirt. And it's in there, that little acorn's in there going, what the heck just happened? You buried me. There's a native saying that says, you tried to bury me. You didn't realize I was a seed. Which really impacts me. Think about that for a minute. Spend some time chewing on that because, because it goes right to the heart of what we're talking about. Are you a seed? We're all seeds. Do you see yourself that way, with needing the opportunities to grow? And so Papa gives us those opportunities by the storms. That being said, and we'll talk about that in a different segment, about maybe not having to go. We have to go through the storm. Maybe I can rise above the storm. But storms bring people closer together, right? When you think about the hurricanes that go through Florida and New Orleans and whatnot, it brings people together. 9/11 brought people together instantly. And for a few weeks, it brought people wildly together. It brings community together. Storms can change our behavior. It can stop us from going in a certain direction. It can slow us down. It can help us pivot. If we look at it from a positive side, maybe we're going down an avenue we shouldn't be going to because it's going to hurt us. So a storm comes, something happens around us, we get sick, we get injured. With the pro athletes, sometimes they're heading a different direction. Someone needs to get their attention. Sometimes they get hurt, they jam their fingers, they sprain stuff, whatever it is. It can change our behavior. Storms teach and remind us of our foundations. What are we holding on to during the storm? What are we clinging to? What's our lighthouse, if you will? What are we using as a lighthouse? Do you even have a lighthouse? Some beacon or point that you can look at and go, hey, you know what? There's home. I might be on the sea can be rocking and there can be big waves and crashing and lightning and thunder and all this, but there's the lighthouse. That's safe and home right there. So storms can teach and remind us of our foundations. Where are we planted? Storms offer us an opportunity to discover new strengths and skills that we didn't have before, to cultivate stuff, but to show us our character. I don't think, for myself, I don't believe storms and challenges in our life, can they strengthen our character? For sure. But I think those storms reveal character. They're revealing what's already there. And so we talk about, steel sharpening steel. Absolutely. Can we enhance that stuff? Absolutely. Can I learn new skills? Absolutely. But I think it's showing us, it gives us an opportunity to discover, hey, you know what? I can get through this. I don't have to be afraid of the storm. I don't have to cower and hide in the house. I can put on rain boots and an umbrella and go out and be just fine. It shows us what that inner strength. Sometimes it allows us to plug into that inner strength, which for me is Papa. Being able to plug into that source and go, hey, this is what I need. I got to be able to plug into that. I got to plug into it. So storms offer us an opportunity to discover new strengths and skills. And storms offer us perspective that we may not have had before. Storms can offer us perspective. You ever go to a sporting event where you go regularly, or a theater, right? You go to a movie. If you watch it from the very front row, in a theater, you're probably sitting like this, right? But at a sporting event, you're right in the front row. You get a certain perspective of the movie or the game or whatever's going on, right? But if you go to the very back row in the arena, in the stadium, in the theater, wherever it is, you go to the very back row, you get a completely different perspective of exactly the same event. And there's people like, oh, I like to sit high, I like to sit low, I like to sit close, I like that perspective. But a storm will offer us a change of perspective. Let's look at our life in a different way. And a lot of times when we do that, it helps show us what our blind spots are, because we're looking at it from a different place. I remember being in an art class and watching this couple. The instructor, she's amazing, by the way. If you live locally to Niagara Falls, she's incredible. But she had these I want to say succulent. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's like a little, looks like a cactusy looking thing, little plant. And she had these succulents in these little pots, and she asked everybody to draw them. And I'll never forget this one couple, husband and wife, sitting right next to each other, drawing the same succulent, the same plant. And at one point, the wife looks over at the husband's drawing and she goes, "What's that?" And he's like, "What? That thing right there? What is that?" "Well, that's the little flower thing right there." And she's like, "There is no flower thing right there. What are you talking about?" And I mean, they're married, right? So there's going to be there may be a little bit of this. And she's like, "You're an idiot. There's not there." And he goes, "It is there. It's right there." And she leaned over to his perspective, and damn if there wasn't the little flower there. And she's like, "Oh, I can't see that from my perspective. I can't see that." So changing perspective allows us to see some stuff in ourselves and in situations that we probably couldn't see or didn't see before. We want to embrace those storms. I'm going to challenge you to embrace the storm, because growth is going to come from that place. A change of perspective in that space. An awareness around strengths and skills that you didn't have before or that you didn't know were there. There's just so many things that it can challenge and help us find our foundation. Maybe we're not paying attention to that before. Now all of a sudden we have an awareness because we go through something in our mental, physical, emotional, or spiritual. Storms all over our life. It can be very, very, very growing. And it takes intention, it takes choice. We need to choose to do that. Choose to do that. I have to take another quick break. The time goes so quick. It's a weird thing, you know. Time is a weird. I heard that was like a line from a movie, actually, a quote from a movie, but it's relative. Time is relative. At work, we're at work, and we're like, "Oh man, time's just dragging." It's not, or at school, or time just dragging. And then we get on vacation and poof, it's gone just like that. We're like, what the heck? In this movie, somebody says, if I put my hands on a hot stove, a second can seem like an hour. But if I put my hands on a hot woman, an hour can seem like a second. Perspective. Perspective. How are you looking at? What lens are you using? You hear me say that all the time. What lens are you using? Another quick shout out for Jose. Escobar is the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. Check out the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf to learn more about his morning and evening routine mastery program that's changing people's lives. Absolutely for real it is. The program will help you install systems on the bookends of your day to maximize your morning and evening routine. Set up your free strategy session with Jose Escobar today. And again, you can reach him at theentrepreneursbookshelf.com. And to that point, if you're not doing something with routine, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. If you're not doing some kind of routine, you're not getting and you're not maximizing your day on any day. So plug into that program. Incredible program. Reach out to him, find out what that's about, because it can change your life. Literally, it changed his life. That's where the program came from. So reach out to Jose. All right. Again, as we take another quick break, I've got my special mug, and it's not coffee. It's herbal tea. It's ginger and dandelion and a bunch of stuff. Amazing. In my special cup, in my special mug. But you know what? While we take this quick break, takes a second to pause and breathe. Pause and breathe. Ground yourself. And we will be right back. We're going to talk about rising above, where to spend. We want to go through the storm. We want to embrace that. But there are some ways to deal with it that can be very, very helpful if we embrace them and then execute on them, right? We can know what to do, but to be able to execute on them means I need awareness around it. So we're going to talk when we come back about rising above the storm. Don't go anywhere. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville, on Inspired Choices Network. I'll be right back.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at JEWIL International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
The Connected Leaders Academy is the #1 fastest growing networking community for entrepreneurs. CLA assembles high-level leaders, titans of industry, and business owners under one roof. If you're an entrepreneur looking to grow personally, professionally, scale your influence, develop skills, and expand your network exponentially, the CLA is where you need to be. Want on to more podcasts and shows, speak on more stages, sell more books, products, and services, get more leads, referrals, acquire new clients, develop lifelong friendships, and more. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. Contact Jose Escobar on Facebook or check out www.claglobalsummit.com for more information.
This is the long-bearded guy with Gordon D Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. All right, so we're talking about storms birthing stronger human beings, stronger men, stronger women, stronger everybody. And so as we go through this today, we're learning, hey, you know what? It's okay. We all go through stuff. Do we have the guts and intestinal fortitude to stick it out and go through it, or do we turtle? Do we not stick it out the same way? Do we find other ways to deal with it that are probably not healthy? Well, not probably, for sure aren't healthy for us. So we've been talking about lessons from the storm. We've talked about different things that storms can bring us, benefits of that. I want to talk just real quick about rising above the storm. So if you know, and I know I've got a bunch of people listening in the US, your national bird is an eagle. An eagle has a very interesting response to a storm. An eagle will not stay in the storm. An eagle will try to go above the storm. They'll fly above the clouds. Interesting concept. Above the clouds. Above the clouds. What's above the clouds? So it's storming on this side, right? There's lightning and thunder and dark clouds, and it's nasty and it's wet and it's wet. What's above the clouds? It's really cold, right? But it's sunny. It's bright. There is no rain. It's a bright sunny sky. Can we live in that space? Can we go? Can we rise? Can we learn and choose to rise above the storm? Can we get above that storm? Sometimes yes, sometimes no, depending on what the storm is. Maybe we can't go above it. So then we need to be able to embrace it and be able to figure out how to be resilient through it. But if we can go above that storm, even if it's just something in our mind, right? We're in our bodies, there's pain and there's challenges, and maybe there's storm is in our bodies like mine. But I could close my eyes and let myself drift above. Put myself in a place, whether it's through meditation, through well, meditation is a great way to do it, that, right? To visualize yourself on a mountaintop, way away from everything else, but well above the storm. But that takes practice. That probably takes coaching. Most people don't know how to do that. It takes plugging into some program or into somebody that has a program that can help you get to that next level, that can help teach you those skills. Plugging into Jose for the morning and evening routine mastery. That's what that is. Well, he's teaching some skills that can help you raise your game. It can help you be more effective and efficient in your life. Some skills that maybe we don't have, probably don't have. And a lot of times what I'm finding, a lot of times we're just not even aware. We don't even know that it's available to us. Somebody said to me the other day, well, people don't choose personal development because they don't even know it's out there. Interesting concept. Interesting concept. They don't even realize it's an availability. Life has beaten them down so bad, they don't even see the possibility anymore. Interesting. Very interesting. They're not aware. How do we get them to become, how do we get anybody to become aware? We have to share it. Have people come and plug into stuff like this. On our network, there's a bunch of incredible hosts on the network. Incredible hosts on the network. Come and be on the network. Come and plug into whether you, I mean, obviously, by all means, come and be on the network. You want to be a host, you want to get your message out, great place to do it. Incredible place to do it. But even to be able to plug in, it doesn't cost anything to plug into these things. We do it as a live radio. I do mine live radio between 12 and 1, just before 1, on every Friday. That's Eastern Standard Time, by the way. I do this every week this way. But it's a live radio show recorded live. It's also a podcast. It's also a TV show. We're also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube and InspiredChoicesNetwork.tv. And of course on the platform on our website. But my point is, all of these things going out, plug in, it doesn't cost anything. Spend some money on a book. We did this book, the hosts. We did this book. Light from the Shadows, Inspired Choices Network Hosts, Enriching the Lives of Others. Grab a copy of a book. You're going to spend what on a book? $20, $25, $30, $40, whatever. It get resources, plug in. And if you know how to do that, or you're plugging in and you're reading all the time, go for it. Go for it, but share that with people. Don't hold that in. Don't hide that under a bushel. Put it out there. Share that with your friends. Hey, I read this great book with all these great hosts, great stories. Grab a book. There's a guy. I mean, you can see I've got this stack right here. That's a journal I'm giving to one of the players. But all the rest of this stuff, that whole stack, that was this week's reading. 5 to 7 a month for almost 35 years. In the summer, we were calculating it would be 35 years I've been reading 5 to 7 books a month. Every month. Sometimes it's a little more, sometimes it's a little less. But I'm averaging around 6 or 7 books a month. And those are business books, by the way. Those aren't, Harlequin romances, and there's nothing wrong with some of that stuff. By all means. Read whatever you want. But my point is, put something in that's going to edify you. And then share that with people. You read something good, well, you do it with everything else. Oh, I saw this great movie. Oh, I have I got this great bag with guys. I found this great beer, or I found this great whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. The point is, we do it with lots of other things. This great station to watch sports on. But being able to edify each other and help us be better, help each other be better. If your community doesn't do that, if you're not in a tribe that does that, find a tribe that does that. Connected Leaders Academy tribe, they do that. I know of a bunch that do that. If the people around you are threatened by your success, you're in the wrong tribe. No offense. That's just the reality of it. If they're lifting you up and lifting you forward and celebrating when you achieve, you're probably in the right place. I stopped looking for like-minded people. Everybody, I got to find like-minded people. I don't want like-minded people unless they're also growth-minded people. I want growth-minded people. And whether they're brand new, just starting into their personal development journey, or whether they've been doing it for decades and decades and decades. This summer will be 35 years I've been doing personal development. It's a long time. But growth-minded, intentionally looking to grow, intentionally putting stuff in. That helps us weather the storms. All this stuff I'm sharing with you guys, that's some of it's experience, some of it's stuff that I read and then I implement into my life. It's stuff that I know will help. Talking to the players, they range between 22 and 30. I'm 20 years their senior. There's things I've lived through that they don't have to live through. Challenges I've had that they don't have to go through if they can learn from my experience. So I share that experience. I share that with them. And that part's been going very, very well. They've really opened up. And it's been really good. To that same concept, I do a quick shout out for myself. I'm asking people who you be. And I know that grammar's bad. I know it is. But I'm trying to get you to think about it for a second. What am I actually asking you? Who are you being? And if the message that you listen to, if you listen to me all the time, great. If you listen, thank you for that, by the way. If you listen to me, this is the first time you're hearing, go back. You can listen to the whole library of stuff that I've put out. We're a year and a half in. Summer will be 2 years. Go back and listen. Share it. But if you want me to, if you're looking to go deeper, you realize, hey, you know what, I'm missing something here. You want to go deeper? I've got a men's boxed inside out program. That's a group program. I've got a women's version of it that only runs 2 times a year. So if you want into the next cohort, it'll happen mid to late February. It'll start, but it's a limited group. So only 12 to 15 women that I let into that group. Same thing with men, 12 to 15 men. If that's of interest to you, reach out to me. If you want me to come and speak with your group, your community, your men's group, your church, your social club, whatever it is, reach out to me. thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. And ask, Gord, hey, can you come? If you're looking for one-on-one mentorship, reach out to me. Reach out to me. I probably can take another 1 or 2 people on as one-on-one clients. But if we're not putting that out there, right? I look at some of even some of my coaching friends. I don't trust a coach that doesn't have a coach. I've got 3 coaches and a therapist. Why? Because I don't have all the answers. I still have blind spots and I need perspective. I need to surround myself with some people that have some objectivity and have my best interests at heart and want to share with me. So we push into that space. I'm here to help. Mentorship programs. You want a copy of the book? You can find it on Amazon.com or Amazon.ca. It's also there on Kindle. You can get it there. You want an autographed copy? Reach out to me. thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com, and I can get you an autographed copy. There's a whole bunch of authors in that book. Bunch of them. A bunch of hosts are in there. It's a great book. It's a great thing to give as a gift. You want to help your kids, your grandkids, your friends, share stuff like this with them. Make everybody around you better. You can change how they respond to you. You can weather the storm by the way you respond to it instead of reacting to it. The tools in your toolbox will help you get through the storm. Anyway, I need to take another quick break. So don't go anywhere. We're going to wrap up. We're going to talk about what the call to action is for this next week. And the time just goes so quick. It goes so fast. I just enjoy spending this time. And I'm thankful, very, very thankful that you're willing to spend some of your limited resource of time with me today. I appreciate that. As we go to break, don't forget to pause and breathe. And don't go anywhere, and I will be right back. You're with the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville, on Inspired Choices.
How much of our daily success relies on our mindset? Anything we are unaware of can still impact our lives. When dealing with our daily emotions that we all face, there can be positive outcomes we control. Why is the word stigma such a BS misnomer? Is living abundantly really possible for all of us, no matter where we find ourselves today? Join the long-bearded guy, Gordon D Melville. The Chief Catalyst Strategist Guide at JEWIL International invites you to an enlightening, sometimes shocking discussion. He will be challenging you to explore your own answers to these questions and so many more. This will lead you towards living an abundant, successful life no matter how you define it. Gordon D Melville is live Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Long-Bearded Guy with Gordon D Melville. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Now back to the program.
Hey everybody, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with me. We're talking today about storms birthing stronger human beings, stronger people, men, women, everybody. And we've talked about being transparent and vulnerable. Do we have the guts to do that? We learn some lessons from the storm, right? There's things we can take from that. We don't learn typically when things are good. We learn when things are not so good. And then we talked about the eagle and rising above the storm. So we want to being able to rise above. We do that by surrounding ourselves with people that we love and are our tribe. We can do that by surrounding ourselves and focused on our purpose and our meaning. Why are we here? If you don't know, again, reach out. I can help you work through that. Understanding what our purpose is will help us get through the storm. Surrounding ourselves with people that understand what our purpose is, or at least not even if they don't understand it, because they don't need to understand our journey, but they're supportive of it anyway. They may not understand it at all why. Or it's whacked and I have no idea why he's doing what he's doing. But you know what? I don't have to understand to be able to support him, to be able to help move him forward and to lift him up. So surrounding ourselves by our purpose and our meaning and people that we love and are our tribe will help us get through the storm. We see life is what we make it. In a storm, we see life becomes what we make it. The lens we choose to look at stuff. And we can choose to make it beautiful if we want to. So as we wrap up today, I want to give you a quick call to action this week that I think will help. If you're not journaling and writing this stuff down, if you're not doing the calls to action, but you follow me all the time, Why not? We can listen to whatever we want. We can read inspirational memes all day. But at some point, I got to get off my butt, get off the couch, and go actually execute on what I'm learning. And I want to execute on who I'm be. The activity, the doing, is an extension of who I'm being. So, what I want you to do this week, as far as the call to action, is to journal out the storm you're currently in, or the last one you were in. If you're through a storm now and you're in a good place, that's wonderful. There isn't a current storm in your life, that's great. Congratulations. But what the last one you went through, and what the one you're in now is teaching you about yourself, about your life, about where you are on your journey through that life. And you can share that with me if you want to, or you can. You're more than welcome to do that. I'd love that engagement. Again, the longbeardedguy@gmail.com. Send it to me. But journal it out. Sometimes we get on the hamster wheel of all the negative things. We're, oh, my life is just in the toilet. Look at all the stuff, and we just keep going around and going around and going around and going around. And as soon as we give it an outlet, we write it down. We say it out loud. All of a sudden we go, you know what? That's not so bad. I can deal with that. Coping mechanisms to get through the storms. Journaling stuff out is a great way to get through a storm. So like I said, the call to action this week is to journal out the storm. Write down what are you dealing with right now? What was the last thing you dealt with? And what did it teach you about yourself, about life, and about where you are on your journey? Being able to focus and be present in the moment is a gift for yourself. So it's called the present. Being right here, right now. Give that to yourself. Challenge you. Next week, February 9th. This year, it just goes and goes and goes. My parents used to tell me, Gord, it gets faster and faster as you get older. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. They were absolutely correct. They're absolutely correct. It gets faster and faster. So same place, but we're going to talk about battles forging resilience. So we talked about storms today, right? Where we sit in those storms and how that makes us better. Battles forge resilience. Sometimes it's not a matter of just dealing with the storm that's affecting us. Sometimes we actually have to do in battle. That's a completely different deal. If we're in a battle, we need to have the tools to be able to get through that. The weapons in our tool belt and on our back, and we need to have the ways to deal with it. So next week, we're going to talk about battles forging resilience. And like I said, if you resonate with this and you want to help, I'm looking for sponsors currently to help get this message out. If you have a heart to help people, and I don't know what to do, or I don't have my own show, I don't want to do my own show, but I want to help somebody else get theirs out, reach out to me, thelongbeardedguy@gmail.com. Would really appreciate that. I can't do this without my sponsors, and I have a bunch that I really, really appreciate so much. So if you want to help with that, great. I'm happy to have you help me with that. If you want to hire, or you want me to talk to you want to join one of the groups, Box Inside Out groups, or you want one-on-one mentorship, please reach out. There's so many ways we can help and avail ourselves of the tools and get the tools we need to be able to move ourselves forward. So like I said, grab the book. You can get it on Kindle. Doesn't even have to cost you almost anything. Get it Amazon.com, Amazon.ca. You can get it. And like I said, if you want an autographed copy, reach out to me. This week, I'll see you here next week, but be courageous, be unapologetically you. Make it another great week. Live out you. You, not somebody else. Live out you abundantly and with intention. Choose to do that. Give yourself that gift. If you haven't heard it today, I love you. Truly, I do. Big, massive hugs. I'll see you next week, and I want to leave you with this question.
Thank you for tuning into the Long Bearded Guy Show. You are appreciated and loved. Gordon D Melville returns Fridays at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on the InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, make it another great week, leading with love, powerfully designing, crafting, and living out your positively impactful legacy life you were created for. Big hugs.